Hello, hello, hello! I am back once again! Going off from last time, I was talking about my solutions to ghetto-type poverty. And I came up with what my fifth solution would be. There's a guy in it's a truck, but it has a flat bed instead of like a normal bed. And it seems like there's like 2 bales of hay in there, and it's covered by a tarp. I don't know. Anyhow, this episode will be a little different. I am going to split it up into 3 different parts, and I plan on releasing the third part on this Saturday, on the same day I release my gaming episode of Astroneer. I hope you guys are liking that, by the way. If not, please leave a comment and I will know. With that said, reviewing my last video, I made a comment referring about how wages need to be greater than like profits, but that won't ever be possible. And thinking about it more and not being in the car driving, I was able to straighten out my thoughts and realize what I had meant was more money needs to be circulated back into the local economy rather than it leaving it. That is, more money needs to be spent on wages rather than on imports, because when you purchase an import, that money is leaving the local economy. And if you're not aware, in this case, I'm referring to imports as basically any item that needs to be purchased from outside the local economy. Also, this morning I had a bloody nose, so I'll probably scratch my nose a little. Last video I had talked about the value of education and having school as a safe place for kids. I had also talked about loans for small businesses. This video I will talk about in 3 different parts. Microloans, beautifying the neighborhood, and the last thing will be the change required in cops. First things first, microloans. The best way you can understand it is like a payday loan, but it won't put you in a debt cycle. That is, by and large, from what I understand, payday loans are loans, private loans, granted by some institution that charges a really high interest rate, like 300%, and you're given the loan based on what you're paid. To me, that's not good enough for microloans, and the interest rates should be capped probably around 50%, and even that's really high. I think it should be closer to 25, actually. They need to be backed by the government and larger institutions like even Wells Fargo. These loans also need to be again small, hence the word micro, and somewhere below the range of $5,000, and they must affect your credit score. That is, if you take out a microloan, it must check your credit score, and if you fail to pay it back, it will ding your credit score. If you succeed in paying it back, it can improve your credit score. That is my goal here. And if that is done, I believe all families eventually would appreciate the value of microloans, because it's a very small influx of cash that allows you to pay it off. And I would appreciate if these things were able to be paid off in installments, probably at a maximum of a year. So like $1,000 over the course of 12 months, that's pretty doable, I would say. And if you take out, I don't know, probably like 3 microloans and they fail to be paid back, I don't believe you should be able to take out more microloans. that is the general idea behind microloans. It's something that is designed to be a replacement for a massive loan, say $10,000, $20,000, even $100,000, like a mortgage. They're not designed to replace those. They're designed to be like, my house just got flooded, or correction, my basement got flooded and the insulation down there needs to be replaced. That is what a microloan is for. Wow, there's I guess an SUV that's kind of like jacked up, and that thing is freaking loud. I bet it runs on diesel. I know it's presumptuous of me to assume that any loud car runs on diesel, but I feel like that assumption is generally correct. So I'm gonna stick with it. Continuing. Payday loans if you take out, say, a $600 loan at a 300% interest, after a year, that's $1,800. That's the kind of thing that will put you in a debt cycle. Like, you take out the microloan, or you take out the payday loan to pay off your credit cards. Then you use your credit cards to pay off the interest for the payday loan. That is a debt cycle. And so the goal of these microloans is to actually help people and not so much the institutions. True, the institutions probably don't want to put out such small amounts of cash because it's generally costs more to collect that rather than to it costs more to collect than the money you would receive if you got it back in full. So I understand why banks are rather hesitant, and that's why I believe that they need to be backed by the government. And of course, they need to have the same level of scrutiny as a regular loan. Like, if you aren't able to provide collateral or good cause, I don't believe you should be able to get a microloan. And of course, these same microloans need to be very easy to get. Because they need to be for like people with a credit score of 400 or less to be able to get them. Because those are the kinds of people that I want them to actually help. The people who a small influx of cash is all they need, and as long as it won't put them in a debt cycle, they'll probably be fine. The goal isn't to help the people that are unhelpable, like third-generation welfare recipients. No, the goal here is to help the people that are fully capable of getting out of the welfare system, but they can't get that extra step they need. That is the goal of the microloans. And with, in general, our economy as it is, with most Americans having a savings account of $400, that's not okay. Like, your car breaking down can be more than that. Going a single trip to the hospital is more than that. So yeah, I think microloans would be really helpful. True, it would probably increase the amount of debt Americans have by a lot, but by and large, I believe it would be more good than harm. And in addition to this, I believe that in these high ghetto areas, like, financial education messages need to be plastered everywhere. Like, pay back your debts. Don't get in a debt cycle. Have a savings account. That kind of thing. And I would appreciate it if we were able to have banks and stuff, like small private ones, be able to collect money, even if it was bad drug money. And the whole reason why is, it's better if a bank has it than it's sitting in a mattress. That's just how the economy works.